Well, today I am so excited to share you with all of our listeners. I could say so much, but I'm not going to cry at the beginning of this podcast. So I'm just going to briefly summarize what I know about you, Laura, as just probably like meeting, most people consider it like their twin flame when they meet somebody who's so much like them. I can remember the first time I ever met you, and you were at my house because our kids were going to prom together. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And so, Finley was like, yeah, Ava's going to bring her mom with her. I'm like, oh, okay, great. And so you came over and literally I was like talking with you and I'm thinking, it's like talking to myself. This girl, she can finish my sentences. She's got the same taste. She likes the same things. I was like, I remember you leaving my house and I told my husband, Ryan, I have never met somebody I'm more compatible with than Laura. Like this town, how? This is amazing. And so fast forward, I have so much I'm going to share with everyone today, but I am just so honored that you would take the time to be on this call with me because not only do I think the world of you, you are like the real deal since the day I met you, but I'm just so proud and I love watching you from afar and how much you've done and succeeded at and worn so many different hats and did it so gracefully. So welcome to the podcast, Laura Lentz.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. So I thought it would be helpful first to start, everybody knows you have 3 kids. How's she doing at college, by the way?
Yeah, she's loving it.
Loving it. The other 2 are...
She's so happy.
I'm so glad. I knew she'd love that place.
Yeah.
And when you were here, I know one of your biggest passions, and I found out pretty quickly when I saw you in my fitting room with the drill, is that you're a designer. And I actually had you come into my house. Do you remember this? When we did like a flurry in the house. So tell us a little bit about what you've done since and how that all came about.
Okay. Do you want me to tell the story about how I became a designer?
Oh, I think you should. Why not?
Well, I was in a transition season. We just moved, down to Florida and trying to figure out what I wanted to do the next phase of my life and really felt like I wanted to open up that creative side of me a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And I've always loved doing design and just for myself or my friends, just helping with their home or like our office spaces or, helping with commercial stuff with some friends and different things like that. And then I met you and we kind of got to talking about some of that. And you out of nowhere were like, hey, come to my office space and we'll just chat. And I'm like, okay, like, great, I'd love to. And you wanted me to see Jackie and do all that. So I came up there and within 5 minutes you had sold me on the idea of starting my own business. And I just remember sitting there going, I definitely don't know what I'm doing. I can't do this, but because of you and because of your amazing pump up skills and your like just your your encouragement for me was like life changing. And I don't think I would be where I am today if it wasn't for you. And the way that I'm not going to cry either.
Yeah, please don't make me cry on this.
But just the way that you believed in me, and I didn't believe in myself at the time because it was just a crazy time for me. But you going, you can do this. I'm going to help you every step of the way. And then I also left with a job. Like you wanted me to design, renovate with you the Jackie space.
You're the brain behind how the Jackie space looks. So let's give credit where credit's due. It's beautiful.
Oh my gosh. So I was completely out of my depth, but I had so much fun doing it. And you just took me under your wing and just kind of helped me with that entrepreneurial thing that I didn't really know was in me. And you definitely pushed me because we started this whole thing and Laura Jayne Designs and whatever, but I didn't know what I was doing at all. And because of you, I was able to get my little feet wet.
Those were some of my favorite days having you in here. One, because your energy and our team, like you brought this dynamic to our team that we had never experienced before. And just your vision. You're such a beautiful person inside and out, Laura. And I think that God delivered you on this doorstep right at the right time because, like, even though you say I did that for you, I needed that. I needed the Laura in my life at that season. And so I think that, we had so much in common, even though we were in two separate worlds, that when we collided, it was like magic. It was so cool. And watching you come to life and watching, I can remember when you had showed me like your design stuff and I was seeing what you're doing and Jackie, I'm like, I mean, she's like a hidden little gem. We've got to get her out to the world. And it was like, all right, get the photo shoot, get the website, let's go. And you're looking at me like a deer in headlights, like, what are we doing right now? And I can remember the day you launched. I remember this so vividly. And I checked back with you and I'm like, all right, how's it going, Laura? And you're like, well, I mean, I guess it's going great. I got 67 leads and I haven't responded to one. I'm like, oh my gosh. What most people fear is that, is anybody going to want what I do, right? But it was just confirmation to me. That was like your sliding door moment because I think for both you and myself, I knew you had it in you. But for you, I think you seen that, you know what? I am good at something. And not only am I good, I'm great at it. And people want what I have to offer and they see me. And that was such a pivotal moment, I think, for you to see what's possible. And I know so many women and men will listen to this podcast and we always feel so unqualified or like, I could never ... right?
Yeah.
But watching you do it and watching your spirit come alive, and I know you've done so many other business things since then, but it's like, I think we all hit a point in our lives to where if we could just be that person for someone else, the difference that we can make. And that's the lesson I learned in it too, because quite frankly, I mean, we were strangers to each other, but I felt so connected with you. And I think that when we have these moments in our lives, that, you know what, it's an opportunity, right? It's an opportunity to change the trajectory for someone in some way, shape, or form. So since then.
Yeah, well, I just to add to that, I think also people underestimate what they have inside of them and finding that it could be in their personality or whatever little skills they do have. And we're so afraid to step out. So to have someone, push that out of you and like really encourage that in you is all you need.
Yeah.
And every single person has something in them that they can do that they've maybe never thought it was a gifting or was something or a skill that anyone else needs.
Yeah.
And I've come to figure out that actually what I have, and even if I feel like, oh, someone else has done that or someone else is doing that, what I bring is going to be different, or what my skill set is going to be different from someone who maybe is in the same arena as me, but I can do it differently.
Totally.
And I think everyone has that in them, but they need to be told.
Yeah, they need someone else to help extract it out of them because we're our worst critics. Even do you remember the little scented, like the cinnamon stick stuff you did at Thanksgiving time that you created? And I'm like, Laura, another hidden secret. We still talk about those. I hope you put them up for sale for people. You guys, if you're listening to this podcast, go to her website this holiday season. These are the best smelling simmer pot. What were they called? Like simmer pots?
Pot, like you put a bunch of like scents together. So like I did the
cinnamon
spice. Yeah. So it's like smells like fall, and you put it in a little cute stove top, like a saucepan or whatever you have, and you just boil it and the scent goes through your house. And it's just a simple little thing, but that was
a big deal. It was so amazing. So yeah, such good memories of watching you create that. And since then, you left in, I think, January of 2023 this year. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. I know. So, and you went out there. I know you're doing other things now. You're in Oklahoma now. Is that right?
Yep. So
how do you like it?
Yeah. We love it. It's like we've figured that, people are like, why Tulsa? Or like, why did you move? Or how is it? Like, oh my gosh. It's like, honestly, I feel like anywhere you go, you can make it home.
Yes.
And it's like living anywhere else in America. You drive down the road, it's the same shops, it's the same, the same thing everywhere you go. It's the people that make your community, and the people is what makes, a place that you live awesome. And we've got some great people here. And like we did in Florida, it's the same thing. Like I had so many great friends there, and and my kids had some great connections there. So it was really fun, and you just make it
That's
home.
right.
So, and again, you taught me that as well when we were thinking about moving, and you're like, Laura, if it doesn't work or you don't like it, you can always move again. I'm like,
that's right. You're never stuck. And I think it just takes people so out of their comfort zone, the fear of moving. And I know you've moved a lot in the last 5 years. It was quite a change. I mean, we have to talk about, though, y'all's favorite restaurant down here in Bradenton. We still talk about Pinchers.
Pinchers. Gosh, I miss it. The crab dip. Oh, that was the best. Have you been yet?
No. Can you believe I have not even been yet?
You live over that side now. You have to go.
I do. And let me tell you, I really don't know why I waited so long to move to that side of town. I am loving it.
I know. It's so fun.
It's beautiful. We love it. But definitely a change from being on this side. But I absolutely love it.
It's so nice.
So I noticed that you're doing some things in the collagen world right now.
Yeah.
Please share, because you know I'm a sucker for anything that's going to enhance, beautify, change.
Well, I always love the health and wellness space.
Yeah.
An opportunity was handed to me, like, to get involved with some supplements and some digital marketing and network marketing and all that, which, some of that always has a bad rap. But so many things are changing now since the pandemic. Everything's online, and you can create your own businesses online. You can create your own courses and all that stuff. So I got into starting a business online, and it is like 6 supplements, and the collagen is amazing, which, now at almost 45 next week, it's like I was looking for something to help with my levels and my hormones and, all the things that you deal with at this age, but at any age, really, with the amount of chronic stress and stuff I'd been under for the past 20 years in some, in our leadership world and all of that kind of stuff that you handle with just life and kids and just job wise and all of that. My body was starting to manifest some things that I was just like, I have to figure out my internal situation. So I started these supplements and I loved them. So I just started selling them. And, I have a good base of like social media and all of that stuff, but just people trust me. Mm-hmm. And so, creating this space for people to get involved and build a little business for themselves as well, to make a little commission, has been really fun. It's just a little side thing that I do, but yeah, it's been fun.
Side hustle's awesome though for people, and it's a great way to drive additional revenue to the home, and especially when we talk about debt. And I will talk with couples who are struggling. I mean, I think there's so many opportunities out there, and I've watched you be extremely successful with this. So I think it's such a great fit for you because you are so committed to health and wellness.
Yeah. What do you think about, that whole world, that whole space of like doing the side hustle thing? That I hate that word, but it kind of is what it is. It's like,
well, I like the side hustle, but you know what word that stands out to me? Like the one word that I always have a hard time with is the multi-level marketing kind of word. However, I will say there's some actual companies out there doing it the right way, and I think you're part of one. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but this company is a newer one. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's newer, and it is an MLM like setup, and so I've pulled away a little bit from that side of it because it's so like some people love that, like building teams on top of teams and like teaching them how to do it, do all of that. My side is I just sell the products. Like I'm doing more the retail side. So I make commission. So it's super easy. Like it's not like, because I tried that other side and I'm like, I can't keep up with it. Because every time you sign up, you're like, oh, I have to teach them all the things. And like, me, I'm like, it's too much. Like
I do know you.
Is just, I just want to create things and have fun and like,
Yeah.
So that's good.
Well, it brings up a valuable point because I think a lot of people's fear is exactly that, like all the peripheral work they have to do. But at the core of what you're doing, Laura, is you're just being Laura. And I think that's what's attracting the business around this particular product is that you're so authentic in your approach and you're just living your life. And what most people don't realize is in business, you're really branding yourself, right? And then you insert the widget. So if you've done a great job at branding yourself, which by the way, you always have, then it doesn't matter what widget you insert, it's going to speak for itself because people have already bought into Laura. So I think that goes without saying for both you and Carl, as far as I'm concerned, he is the king of culture. I've always called him that. I love his approach. I can remember the first day he even came into Jackie and I had barely said 2 words. And by a week later, I had my call to action, who I was, my mission statement. And I learned so much from both of you guys, but you definitely have that gift of just being able to, you know what, if you believe in something, people believe in it too. So.
Well, and again, you helped me see that because I was like, what have I got? I don't know what I can do, blah, blah, blah. And
you're hilarious.
You were so great. You just laugh at me all the time when I'm like, I don't know what to do here. And you're like, just do it. I'm like, I can't. I need someone to help me do it.
Listen, do you remember when you would get leads and I'd be like, just let me do the initial call. I'll be your assistant. Let me just get everything in order. I'll hand them off to you to do it. That's the thing. I think I believed in you. I still do. I'm one of your biggest fans. I think anything that you do is going to be a success, but it's because to your core, Laura, and that's the one thing I wish the rest of the world saw, the Laura I saw, and I hope they do. And if they haven't, they will when they encounter you. But you are so authentic. You are so authentic in everything that you do. And that's why anything you touch is going to be a huge success. And I'm just so proud, so honored to call you a friend. And I know that, if you ever needed help with business, you know who you could call, and I would work as your assistant. I just know that's how much I believe in you.
No, you are my, I come to you with everything. If we showed our texts, it's all about this and well, how do I do this? Every step, I'm like, I need Amber. She's so good. And the whole debt thing right now, so many people are struggling.
I know.
And again, you helped Carl and I with that. And my situation with work and job, setting up a business, you helped me with all of that. And so anyone out there that hasn't set up a curiosity call with, is that what it's called?
You know what? I like that catchy little name you just came up with, Laura. It's actually called a clarity call. But curiosity call, that does the same thing. I'm going to have to write that one down.
Scratch that. If anyone out there needs to and hasn't got a hold of you and done a clarity call, a free clarity call.
Yeah, it's free too. Well, it's so much fun. And, I don't know if you remember our roundtable lunches with the egg sandwiches. Do you remember those at the table here? And we would talk so much about we all have these moments in our lives. I had it. I know you had it, which is, I call it one day where everything changed, right? And, it's not that there should be any shame or guilt around it because there's not. And just like there wasn't in my situation or yours, it just is, right? And so it's it's such an honor to be able to meet people where they are and just say, hey, I can help you with that. I've done this for thousands of people, and sit down and have conversations and really show them a way out of their financial situation. And so, for me, it's once you can get them to dump their backpack off with all the stuff they have in it and all the debt and everything else they're dealing with, it's a game changer. It frees them up mentally to do so much more in life. So it's been a lot of fun.
Well, you're so good at that because you've been there is no shame. And so many people carry so much shame when it comes to debt and their financial situation. I mean, I did. You're I don't know how I got here. It's just life. And then you sitting down with you and you exactly being this is okay. You can do this. And it's okay. And you take that shame off and you're okay, whatever you say,
I know. I can still remember seeing your eyes sometimes when I would say, yeah, this is what we're going to do. And you're like, Okay. Well, I'm just like, you're hilarious. Like, you really did put a lot of trust in me, and I do appreciate it. And I that's why I get so excited, like, to watch you now and watch you from afar, even though I wish you were still here because it was a game changer for me too. I love watching you. I love watching what you're doing for people, and I love watching your confidence. You and Carl are like a gem to so many people. And I don't think that's said enough, but I'm just so grateful that God planted the two of you here because it was a game changer for myself and Ryan. Like we just think the world of you guys. And I just want people to hear that there is no shame or guilt. And I know you've done a lot of work around this, Laura, because you've shared a lot with me too, and it helped me, is just being able to have vulnerable conversations and really be okay with where you are. And I don't think anybody did that better than you. I watched you in your grace and humility and walking through maybe probably the toughest season of your life, but you did it so well. And it was such an inspiration for me. And I think about that every time I talk to individuals who have those one days where their lives change. And, financially it falls off the table. And like I think about the way you carried yourself with such humility and such grace, but you're such a powerhouse behind the scenes. And I always think when I talk with people, I'm like, you know what, this is just a blip on the radar. Because if you can walk through this as powerful as I know you can be, then on the other side of that, you're going to be able to impact so many. And look at you now. I mean, I'm still waiting for your book, Laura.
Oh gosh! If we stayed on any longer, you would probably start creating my book title and my how we're going to do it. And
that's right.
You would tell me to have something ready by this date. Oh.
You would just have me ghostwrite it at that point.
You could.
Listen, by the way, I forgot to mention this. If you and Carl did not listen to our previous podcast about the business ideas, I actually shared the one business idea that you're probably going to be embarrassed that I bring up, but about short-staffed on there.
Oh my God, you did it.
I did, because I really those are the I'm just thinking of taglines and stuff around business, but that was the one business idea, I was so eager to launch. I'm still waiting. And I get all the videos that you send me, by the way, around that. But short-staffed is the one company that, you know what, I really feel like it's going to happen one day.
Oh my gosh. I mean, if anyone's going to do it, it's you.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. But you know what? I want to make sure and leave our listeners with how they can get in contact with you, Laura, because I know there's certain individuals who are also going to walk through the same things and they're going to need additional streams of revenue. And not only that, I actually just moved into a new home that I've got to reach out to you about to come help me design my house because you did such a great job with Jubilee. So I want to make sure that people know how to get in contact with you for both interior design. I know you're doing it remotely now, and you can do stuff to where you send them with the links to purchase, which I love that service. You're probably one of the only people doing it right now. So I know it's laurajaynedesign.com. Is that right?
Laura Jayne Designs with an S.
laurajaynedesigns.com. And then if anyone wants to be a part of what you're doing in the health and wellness circle, they can actually reach you.
Just to DM me.
Okay.
Instagram at Laura Lentz.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, friend, for being on this. I love and adore you, and I'm so proud of you and cannot wait to continue watching your success.
Thank you. I love you.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.